Okay, now it's being recorded. And yeah, the first message, I see that Hangouts on Air is going away later this year. So yeah, probably later we will need to think what we use as a Jenkins project. Regarding, yeah. So am I audible?
Yep.
Probably too audible, as Joseph says.
Yeah, there's something wrong with your mic, but it's working.
Yeah, my laptop just got electric cut, so my audio jack doesn't work reliably, and yeah, now I use embedded mic, full professional setup, I know. Okay, let's take a look at our agenda. So we have several people on the call. Yeah, do you see my screen? Before I mess it up, yeah, I made myself a presenter. So yeah, the recording should be fine. So yeah, we have Joe, Tim, Oleg, Joseph, and Kifli on the call. So yeah, regarding the agenda. So yeah, as usual, we have some news which we will discuss. Then yeah, I just put some topics I had in mind. So syncing up on ongoing pull requests and activities. Then yeah, we have JCasC plugin compatibility project. So that's why we have Yufei on the call. And we also have some JCasC test framework enhancements which are underway. So in addition to that, would we want to discuss any topics today? Anyone? Okay, so let's just proceed with this list, and yeah, if something pops up, we can switch to the topic. Okay, so what about news? I guess since the last meeting 2 weeks ago, you've got a couple of new releases. So yeah, I guess only this one. So maybe you, Joseph, would like to summarize it, or maybe you, Tim.
Just having a look. So there was some references to the support plugin have been removed in the code, and we're no longer publishing it. Joseph's currently working on deprecating it, making it clear to users that they should remove it. That should be coming soon, hopefully. There was an issue with exporting node properties, which has been fixed. Proxy configurator didn't resolve secrets. And there's a new way of testing that was merged last week, I believe, or 2 weeks ago. But we haven't publicized it too much because there's a few issues with it we're trying to work on, where the export, we can't do an export round trip, which we'll hopefully have resolved soon. We discussed how to do it at the last meeting. And we've also recently had JMH benchmark support merged into CasC to use configuration as code to set up your benchmarks, I believe. I think that's about it for now.
Yeah, I guess that's it. So this patch is still incoming, so it hasn't been released yet. But yeah, there is a topic in the agenda for it because yeah, I also wanted to discuss it. Maybe Abhyuday joins the call later, I'm not sure. Okay, that's good. Other change which happened in the project is about security contact. So before that, Evelina was security contact, but there was some private conversations over past weeks. And we agreed to proceed with Joseph Patterson being a security contact. So we will have a discussion about what it implies later, but we have a wiki page. Yeah, I'll probably share it later. Okay, I just need to find it. But yeah, we'll sync up with Joseph after the call to discuss next steps for that. But yeah, now if anyone submits issues to Jenkins configuration as code, yeah, please firstly follow the official process. So Jenkins security, you can find that there is a guideline how to report a security issue. And if you follow this guideline, you submit a private issue, which will be processed, and then the security contact, it's now Joseph, will be able to process this issue, and we as a security team schedule the new release together with the maintainers. So yeah, this is the new process, and yeah, probably we can discuss it more at the next meeting. But yeah, right now there are some action items we will follow up on in this topic. Okay. So other topics is about JSOC. So you may have seen that there is a notification about the change of the project in the Jenkins developer mailing list. So we have Yufei on the call. Yufei is a student who was working on the external workspace management project. But yeah, after some changes, it was agreed that he will proceed with configuration as code. Yeah, so yeah, this is the current project. You will still need to update the website.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry?
Yeah, I know what you mean by updating the website. So I thought
yeah.
it was the blogs. So you mean the Jenkins.io? Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, we will talk about it later. So yeah, so if Yufei passes the first evaluation, which is scheduled to the next week, then yeah, there will be work scheduled for JCasC plugin compatibility. And yeah, since Yufei is on this call, maybe you would like to introduce yourself. Okay.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Yeah, I'm here. Yufei. I will introduce the reason why we gave up on the external workspace manager, and that's a kind of tough story. That's a little bit tough to say. And now I'm working on the JCasC, and I've been going through the code base of JCasC these days, and honestly, it's a little bit difficult for me to find the internal logic of this plugin, as it looks much more different than the other plugins. So there are a few points that I still don't understand by reading the code. So I might need some help with it, but then we can discuss it later when we goes to this JSOC topic.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, let's discuss that. But maybe you would like to introduce yourself, not the project.
Me? Well, like there's nothing much about myself. I'm a third-year student in Simon Fraser University, Canada, and I was in Zhejiang University back in China. Now I'm also like working a lot with clouds, so this is why I chose the AWS. And also I'm working with some configuration as code tools like Terraform to provision our infrastructure. So the concept of Cask and Jenkins is like, it's like they're not a stranger to me. So thanks everyone. Hope we can have a good journey. If I can pass the first coding period evaluation, which is kind of, I'm not very confident right now, as there's not many results there for me to show to the others. So that's all. Thanks.
Yeah, we can discuss it later, or maybe you should discuss it together with mentors. Okay. So yeah, any other news which we are missing?
Nope. I don't think so.
Okay. So yeah, regarding project activities sync up. So yeah, we had several topics, but yeah, basically, do we need help with delivering any pull requests for Jenkins for configuration spot in order to enable this story? I'm just capturing one pull request, which was already referenced on the call for plugin deprecation engine. Yeah, then there is blacklisting reports. I also had a question about this sleep annotation indexer, because I'm not sure what's the current relation for the project.
It looks forgotten about.
Yeah, looks so. So yeah, we could probably sync up on these stories, and yeah, if there is anything else outstanding, just add them to the bottom of the list. Because yeah, it looks that configuration as code plugin itself, code base is doing well. So yeah, there are some changes like this one by team, but yeah, basically it's almost all changes which have been submitted are already integrated. Yeah, blacklisting of experts is already here. Okay, so yeah, we can start from plugin deprecation engine. Joseph,
yeah. So in talks with Daniel inside the PR, we kind of agreed that it would be better to do a full implementation instead of the short-sighted one. The short-sighted is to start labeling plugins as deprecated in a certain file on the update center. But we think it would be a better idea to do the same thing as we did for security warnings, to implement a data structure that allows to also give reasons why something is deprecated, or what is replacing the plugin, because usually some people plugins, or it could be that it's deprecated. There's no active maintainers, or it's deprecated because there's no code that's like doing anything anymore. Like support plugin. I agree with we should try and drive it as a chip. So see if I can write the mailing list and then gather some info and then try and write out a chip for it.
Yep. So yeah, this story unfolds a lot. Yeah. And if you're interested to implement this entire story, well, it's great, I think. But yeah, I'm not sure any other use cases in JCasC except for plugin deprecation.
Because the current implementation that was suggested was to, as I said, to mark plugins as or label them as deprecated. But it kind of limited in what you can do, because what reasoning for it being deprecated. So it would be a lot better to have the update center have the data that could then say, this is why, and this should do. The action is, we could improve the plugin, or the hint that maybe they have the uninstall plugin link, and you can just click that and it will uninstall the plugin for you or something like that.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Okay. Well, if we have it, it would be great. If not, well, happens. Yeah, I think that configurations code support plugin is already it has already communicated that people should stop using it.
Yeah, but it still has like 3,000 installs, so so we'll see how it drops next month.
Okay.
Next month again.
Well, unfortunately, plugins in Jenkins do not tend to lose the installation number. even plugins which have been deprecated for years still grow in installation numbers sometimes, especially the detached plugins. So for JCasC, I hope it will be better, but yeah, there is a glorious adoption chart for Ant plugin. Yeah, sounds really like 2019. But yeah, this is what we have. I hope that for JCasC plugin it will be better. Okay.
We understand for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Regarding blacklisting, yeah. Anything else for that, Joseph?
Nope.
So for blacklisting, I guess just needs reviews, right?
Yeah, just need to decide how far we want to take it. Currently, I'm looking at the plugin supplying a file that contributes to it. I've pulled in some of the code from JEP 200. I haven't pushed it and haven't tested it yet. But so that change there works for the specific instance we're trying to fix. You just see how it looks for other instances.
Yeah. So I guess one of the choke points here is about the file format, because yeah. So this is this long discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, main problem for JEP 200 is that JEP 200 was designed for fields. It hasn't been really designed for methods. But yeah, I'm not sure what would be the approach. We can just assume that we represent the field name, because yeah, JCasC exports string classifier anyway. But yeah, I guess it's the biggest problem. But if you have this engine, it would be really helpful for few users.
Yeah, it'll just be interesting to see how much use it would actually get, because I'm not sure that it's something that common.
Yeah, it's also a fair point.
I'm not sure whether even just this would be enough, or something slightly more than this.
At least I would say maybe we could improve it to have a array list that you compare against in the blacklist. And then we can just improve it. If we need more, then we can look at adding the JEP 200.
Yeah, right.
Perhaps that's the simple solution for now.
So just extract it to a file?
No, not even a file. I think just an encode list of strings that you look for. And there would be one string you're looking for.
Yeah, I might just do that just to get this over the line, because it will unblock the testing export round trips setup.
Well, I guess it's only one of the obstacles there, but yeah, it would definitely help. So yeah, here, yeah, JEP 200 implementation, you may see that it's mostly classes, but yeah, who knows? So yeah, whatever works for you there, and if you need any reviews, let's just try to do them in the pull request. So yeah, if you need knowledge transfer, for example, for how JEP 200 works, I can do it later, maybe even at this call, or maybe
I tracked it down eventually. I think I figured it out.
No. Okay. Yeah, that's good. So yeah, let's hope that it plays out, and yeah, we already have some test automation. I think it should be fine.
Yeah, it's covered in the test there. At least we're fixing that case.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I had to test the JDK one though, because it seems that by default JDK will set like my local machine, like my max path. So without adding it, without configuring it, I couldn't test that the other stuff was hidden.
Yeah. Just a minor comment, sorry. In Jenkins, you can link issues by annotations. So far, this engine basically does nothing after that. But yeah, presumably, if the tests are annotated, at some point we will be able to collect this data and to use it for some kind of metrics if needed. Obviously, not a top priority for Jenkins developer tools. But yeah, who knows? Okay, anything else on that?
Don't think so.
Yeah, and the last one was for lib annotation indexer. I just raised it in the chat because, yeah, I just touched this library a while ago. This pull request itself looks good to me, but yeah, I was trying to track it down to whatever existing story. And yeah, to be honest, I was unable to understand whether it's something still useful for JCasC.
I think for JCasC it's no longer useful. It was while we were having beta packages and trying to mark code as beta, as I reported.
I think the main reason for it was you could blacklist everything and then just have one package API, which is the public API.
Yeah, right.
It's useful, but
it is useful, but currently not for JCasC.
Okay, well, not longer needed for JCasC, but still useful. Yeah, so maybe I'll see whether I'm able to land it, but yeah, I think that it mostly depends on the feedback from Nicola. Okay. Any other pending changes which need attention? Okay. So yeah, JCasC plugin compatibility project.
Let's break it into two parts. The first one is what I'm doing right now. What I'm doing right now, just like Joseph said, just reviewed on the most recent pull request on External Workspace Manager, and looks like we still got a lot to fix. But anyway, we had some improvements on Martin spaces. So the first one is External Workspace Manager, and the second one is EC2 refactoring, or I don't know what's happening there. Oh.
Yeah, regarding External Workspace Manager, this is the pull request, right?
Yes, but the Martin's branch is not working. Actually, he made something wrong, so I just like revert to its some previous commits and started from there.
Okay, so this is the new one, right?
Yeah, this is a new one, and now it can somehow work. I uploaded this HPI to my own Jenkins instance, and now it can export the desired YAML file I wanted it to export. And, so this is ongoing, but I might have I need to figure out what Joseph was saying about those. Yes, that's part of my job in the potential next few days. And the EC2 plugin. Yes, I've done refactoring. So to me, the refactoring is breaking constructors to setters. But I've done refactoring on several clauses. But when I move on to the other classes, the test just broke. The project cannot build. So there are some questions I need to ask maybe Tim, maybe Oleg, maybe Joseph, like how the data constructor works. Like there are some data constructors that is not
yeah, maybe you want to share your screen and just show it to us.
Yes. Okay, but there is some problem with my fonts. It's too small.
Okay,
So
you
maybe
can just send the link to the code and I will screen share for you then.
okay.
So just send the link.
Let's see. We're gonna. Yeah, it's too small. I don't know why. It's going to be like this. It's something near here. Okay. Fonts.
Anyway, I think one of the things we probably should start with is to deprecate the old constructors and remove the data bound and create the new constructor. And that will probably help not to have to rewrite all the tests.
Yeah, sorry guys, right now I don't follow the discussion because there is no pull request in the plugin, and I'm not sure what should be showing.
I actually last week I asked in the JCasC Gitter and I asked if there is any opening issues about EC2, and there is someone, I don't know who it is, but he just said he has closed out all the related PRs about EC2 plugin, and he said there is no remaining issues for EC2 plugin. So that's why I asked Oleg what's the job since everything is down. So it was kind of confusing, but later on I realized I didn't find the refactoring on this file. I couldn't find it anywhere. Trust me, I went through all of the PRs. So there are some problems. Like for example, the most one is so there are some data bound constructors. They are not simply using this x equals x, or they have some like judgments. I don't know how to break it into those sort of things. Is there any underlying mechanisms? Also, there is a file here, EC2 step. When I break this EC2 step into data bound setters, the whole build just crashed. I don't know why. It's a simple constructor, but I don't know why the setter doesn't work here. But I can leave these questions later and publish them in the public email. So that's what I've been doing right now. So.
Yeah, right. So what you could do to make it reviewable, firstly, submit pull requests. Then I'm trying to find the discussion in the chat. But if I recall correctly, there was a question what to do in JCasC. I said that there is one ticket open.
What? The ticket for what?
Right. So I noticed already merge. What else we can improve? I just said that we already discussed it on Wednesday because last Wednesday we had a meeting on the evening.
Yes.
We agreed that we already reviewed this pull request. At that point, you said that you would look at refactoring options because it was the only remaining ticket. So and if you want to work on refactoring, it's fine. If you don't want to work on refactoring, I guess it's also acceptable.
Okay, so some days then this goes to the plans. So here I list a plan, and I've communicated with Joseph. Yeah, so I went over like almost all the issues and opening PRs about what I might do. So there are a sort of issues like supporting multiple sources to like import the config YAML file. So one is using like this custom header, though Joseph told me to leave it alone, do not focus on it anymore, and he told me to like focusing on some downloading from GitHub and branch. I think there is a open issue about it. It's somewhere near. Where is this?
So it's GitHub branch stuff. So what?
Yes, GitHub branch. I think it should be somewhere. No, not this one. Yes, this one.
Just a second.
No, oh sorry, it should be 200 and something. I think I included in here. Joseph gotta have a link here.
Where?
Here, I think it's be down here.
Oh, you're sharing the screen because I didn't know that you share the screen because you said you. And okay.
Yeah, this one. Okay, then
Okay.
branches configuration source. So Jessa told me to work on this. So I'll take a look at the source code here. Wait a minute. Why did this turn up so small? I have no idea.
I've got to go now.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
So this is one thing I will be working on, and there's also an AWS3. I'm not sure if there's any opening PRs, but I don't think so. And it looks like everyone agree on this is a good point. And since I've had experience working with AWS Java SDK, I think this one, together with the GitHub one, might be a good point to start. Yeah, so I took a look at the source code, and then I found that the key point is here. The way we like the JCasC configuration, the web UI is different from other plugins. It has it's read from the new source and then do something here. I think this is the entry point where people either put a string on the web. For example, goes to my own Jenkins. Configure is here. So this is an entry point where the user put a pathway URL, and then the function goes to here and do something like using the YAML sources. Yeah, I take a look at the YAML sources. Where is the YAML sources? Yeah, this one, YAML source here. I read all of the source code here, so I found that maybe I need to add some new YAML readers. And this part of code is was a contributor who supports an authentication in the HTTP header. So this is part of code. But for me, if I want to make it work, maybe the web UI should be like this. So there's a hetero property. There is a drop-down menu. I can choose what kind of source I want to use. Maybe AWS3 custom header HTTP or Git plus branch or something like that.
So basically, it would imply having a configuration source as extension point in Jenkins. With the ability to define it in plugins, because we unlikely want to have AWS client put directly in configuration as code plugin.
Yes, of course.
So yeah, I think it's a valiant goal, but it would be a pretty big story when it unfolds.
What? For what to be done?
Well, so the extension point itself is easier. Modifying UI is also easy because it's just a describable drop-down, whatever. So there are existing implementations which you can use. The real problem comes from the fact that you need to use this extension point in the code. So it's not only about UI. You also need to have of all the underlying logic. You probably need to somehow be able to configure the source so that Jenkins is able to load the configuration on startup from AWS. Because I don't think it makes sense to load it only from web UI. Maybe Joseph could comment on that. But yeah, it might be a pretty big story. Is the request does the request require loading on startup from AWS?
That was the idea that they wanted to load the YAML configuration from AWS instead of one path. So that would definitely require us plug in something that authenticates against it.
Yeah, so it means it would be an extension point. So JCasC plugin firstly would need to resolve URL and cask Jenkins config value to understand which extension point to trigger. Then there will be all this config loading logic, which may also need refactoring, because currently the whole logic is implemented around file pin. Definitely makes sense to factor it, but it would be a change. And
there is also currently another extension plugin for JCasC for EC or AWS S3 secrets, as I recall. Or I cannot remember if it's secrets, but it's definitely something with secrets. Now I can't remember, of course.
Yeah, so potentially it could be in the same plugin, though it's hard to rename it already. But yeah, maybe having separate plugins is also key.
So let's we can leave that discussing today's morning meeting. But
Yep.
before that, I said I did some KTs as I just transferred from the previous project to this one, so I never experienced any KTs. Actually, I didn't have any KTs in the previous project, though I required one, I think, but there was no time for managers to give me a KT, so which is kind of if honestly without KTs, it's hard for me to make prominent progresses as I need to find out. I don't only need to read the documentations. I need to find out where should I find this documentation. So I have to
maybe we could start from the beginning. For the previous project, have you requested knowledge transfers? Because what
I think
students is to send us a list of information we need to know to be successful in the project.
Yes, but when at the community bonding, we had the meeting until the last week, so which is kind of
unrelated, because that means we're pinging students anyway.
What?
So we were pinging students anyway, independently of the meeting. If you grumble about not having key keys in the previous project, I would say it's not only a problem of mentors. Regarding KT for this project, I agree with you that KT is something we need, but in order to have KTs, we need to understand what information you want to get.
But there might be, but well, I think there should be some KT requests in the meetings, but I don't know what's going to happen there. And then so let's do it. I think that's all for my plan. I've been figuring out all this stuff all these days.
Okay, thank you. So I'll probably just make some notes, and I would appreciate if other people also make notes here. So plans and next steps. So JCasC and the tool configuration steps. So I'm just trying I'm just trying to put what we had would involve JCasC for config sources. Then refactoring of the file system logic to an implementation. A new plugin is have I wrote it down correctly?
I think so.
Yeah. So maybe it's something you need to think about. So if you approach it in such a way, think what information you need to be successful on delivering these action items. And probably update the existing ticket and require KTs. So here I would just say that if we define topic, he needs a form. Is it fine with you?
Yes, it's good.
Sorry, Joe. I gotta drop this. I have another call coming up soon. So see you in a fortnight.
Okay. So yeah, I'll probably ping you later because we need to discuss the security stuff.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. So yeah.
Gotcha. Bye.
Okay.
Bye.
See you. Bye. So yeah, one topic which is left to our agenda is called JCasC test performance enhancement. So yeah, we have this pull request which has been already integrated. So the story behind it, we basically have a blog post which is staged and which is almost ready to go about phase 1. But yeah, basically this blog post inside includes the part about the JCasC. Today on this call, yeah, Uday is the student working on the project. So one question here is what would be EP for the next release? So we could understand what we do about this blog post. Joseph, what would be your take on that?
Yeah. I don't know actually. Just go ahead and release it. Like I have no qualms about releasing right now.
So yeah, of course, the main problem is that current release doesn't really include any functional changes. I mean, the only change is in the test framework. Oh, now we have EC2 plugin parameters deprecated. Oh, it's documentation.
Yeah.
So maybe we could add something. Yeah, because our main problem that if we cut a release now, it's not a release for users, which is probably okay, but yeah, maybe it's better to avoid that.
Well, what we could do is split it out. So before releasing, we split out the separate plugin or separate test framework plugin. That could be another option.
Yeah, maybe.
But that would require more work.
Well, I can probably do that. So you mean this ticket which we created?
Everything on the MISC, I guess, should be moved out.
Oh, this one. Okay. So yeah, if it helps to deliver this change, I'm ready to take it.
Then there would be at least also a user-facing change, I guess, or
well,
a
this
plugin user change.
Yeah, maybe. Okay. So yeah. So yeah, I can take it. Maybe every day if you would like to work on it, it's possible, but yeah, it's not a part of your project goals. So yeah. Just default to take it.
I'm not sure what has to be done here.
Okay, then yeah, it's better than if I just take it, because yeah, it's a long story, so maybe it's better if I just do it. Okay, so yeah, I'll take it. I'll try to deliver it maybe by tomorrow. No commitment, but yeah, I'll try. Okay.
Good.
Yeah, sorry if this meeting took so long. Yeah, maybe we need to think how to optimize that. For example, no pull request reviews or whatever. So maybe it's a question for you, Joseph, and the team. If you feel that some bits are not useful for the meeting, we can just cut them.
Okay, thanks.
No, it's fine.
Okay, so yeah, then thanks everybody. I will stop the call. Yeah, if you, Joseph, could stay online for a second, yeah, we can discuss some other bits. Thanks everybody.